Hey, it's Brian Burns, and here's another episode of Sales Advice, Hacking, Career Strategy. Today I want to talk about the differences between systems and goals. Now, systems are basically a series of habits that over time will increase your ability to become better at things. Let's say, in a career sense, it's building up your skills. And the key is to constantly add just a little bit more, what I call mini habits. Instead of what most people do is they go cold turkey. They go from couch potato to marathoner, and they think they want to do it in a week. And the problem is that physically is impossible. Or they just set goals. And I think as human beings, we have this natural tendency to have this big, audacious goal that excites us and motivates us for about a day and a half, 2 days. And that's the problem with goals, is that goals tend to be transient. Let's face it, if we were super good with goals, we wouldn't be having career issues, right? We would have figured this out a long time ago. And what I found is that systems are easier. Systems are more effective in some ways. I think goals are good. Let's say you have an income goal or an academic goal or a promotion goal or a self-employment goal. What you need to do is then, break it down into what would your day look like? What skills do you have to learn? Because today, we don't have the confinement that we had merely 15 years ago. What I mean by that is, what is school? School is a system, really, because in college it's a system in most cases, because most of the information, the content, the actual knowledge is completely available online at little to no cost relatively to college. When you look at college being, anywhere from $25,000 to $60,000 a year, you can get a lot of stuff online for that amount of money. I mean, you can get a full-time tutor for that amount of money. So it's not the building or the people anymore. It's the system. It's really the structure. That's why a lot of people actually go to college, and because they need the structure. And a lot of us need structure. That's why, when we get a little ahead of ourselves with drugs or alcohol, we go to rehab, where we're separated from those things. We're focusing on getting better. And that 30-day system structure helps people get better, to really understand what you're doing to yourself and to not partake of those things. People go to health camps to lose weight, to rechange their body into new habits. They don't lose all the weight, and they don't completely give up. I say they do supposedly completely give up, but it still takes a lot of work. The sober house, you see the lifestyle. People need these routines, these systems, and that is really powerful, right? When you go to college or the military, and a lot of people get pushed into the military because of the system. There's so much structure there, and they wear you out that you don't have the energy to get in trouble. And when they say that, your brain doesn't fully form until you're like 24, well, a lot of us are pretty far along into our lives and have made long-term commitments by then, either by having kids or getting married or buying things that aren't easily sellable at a profit. And we tend to lock ourselves into certain situations. So having systems that give you structure, that give you repeatable habits, are insanely powerful. Now, a lot of people, and the obvious downside of them is that they can be boring, honestly. Let's face it, if you get up at the same time every day or you go to bed at the same time, that can appear boring. But we all have systems, whether we admit it or not. Chasing the shiniest object at the moment is a system. We may not admit it, but that is something that we should change, because just because the object is shiny doesn't mean it's valuable. It just means it's shiny. And a lot of us hide behind goals by setting say you're 280 pounds now. You say, I want to be 185 in 6 months. Well, That's a tremendous challenge, right? Because if you think of a healthy amount of weight to lose is a pound a week, so that's close to 100 pounds. That would be 2 years of, relatively conservative dieting. So basically what I'm saying here is goals are good, systems are really good, meaning that every day or every work day that you have a system put in place, it also takes away from the decision-making muscle so that you can use the decision-making muscle on things that need it. What we often spend is too much time on what are we going to wear, what time are we going to work, what route are we taking, and all these little distractions of, checking in with everybody about their weekend and what are you doing this weekend, what you do last weekend. All of this, kind of busy stuff, or going to meetings, planning meetings, follow up from meetings, email, social, too much social. All of these things could be trimmed, maybe. Right. And what I'm saying with this episode is to think about this. Build systems that are going to get you towards your goals. Don't just rely on the goals as enough of a carrot to get you going every day. I think it is good to have your why. Why am I doing this hard thing? Why am I getting up so early? Why am I staying up so late? Why am I studying this? Having a picture or a song or, some kind of anchor that reminds you of why you're doing it. Is it to become the best? Is it to make a certain income? Is it to have a certain lifestyle? Is it to retire early? Is it to travel? Is it to support your kids? Whatever it is, I don't care. Have it. Because what it'll do is it'll get you out of that moment of discomfort into the long-term view. And that is a great system. And, having that goal, that number, that quantifiable thing that's a year off or maybe 3 years off is good. I'm not against it. But what I'm saying here is don't rely on it. I have a yearly calendar. I talk about this all the time. It literally took me forever. Last year was the first year I did it. And I just, when you look at a year at a glance, where you can get these on Amazon for like $30, and you can write on them, and you can see the 12 months, and you've got a little square for every day. And once you grade yourself every day, and you can look back and you can say, like, what caused that B? Why didn't I get an A on that day? And there's one F up there where I'm really messed up. And all of a sudden, when you see a month where you get straight A's, and all of a sudden, oh, what did I do there? And then you find the things that are in your way and you minimize or eliminate them. And that is a good system. That's a great system. I would say, and don't try the biggest thing first. And this is a key thing to this mini habits approach, is what you want to do is try the easiest thing that gives you the biggest impact. But a classic example is from the Habits book by Duhigg, where he gave up the cookie that he had for lunch every day. It's kind of a treat, but it's like 250 calories. It's it's sweet. Sugar's not that great for you. That's the only thing that everybody agrees on. And giving up that cookie can have an enormous impact. You give it up for 12 days and you've lost a pound just giving up that cookie. And it's easy with reasonably high impact. Things like drinking ice water, easy, reasonably high impact, because you lose like 80 calories for each glass of ice water because your body has to heat itself up to compensate for the cold water inside your body. It's easy, reasonable, high return. What people tend to do is like try and stop smoking, stop drinking, and change all their eating habits all in one day while going running. What happens there is you do it for one day, and then you lay in bed the next morning, your legs hurt, you're dying for a cigarette, and maybe you're thinking about happy hour. Try one at a time. Give it a good 4 weeks. That seems to be either 21 days to 6 weeks seems to be a reasonable amount of time to change a habit. Replace it with something that's positive. Change the cookie for, a celery stick or a carrot, or some kind of, or maybe even a banana. You know, bananas are high in sugar too, but it's a much better form of sugar than the cookie. And maybe then just try half a banana and give the other half away or put it away, or a smaller banana and then just give it up. See, once you start doing this and you do this month after month and you stick with it, it becomes easier. The New Year's Eve or the New Year's Day going to the gym thing, it just doesn't work. You know, I've seen it too much. I was in the fitness business for a short period of time, and you could just see it. And they make most of their money in January. People sign up for the whole year, or they forget to cancel, and the whole model is based off of you not going. If everybody went to the gym, the business model would fall on its face. So what you want to do is come up with your system, your structure, you know, go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time. I know it's boring, but what happens up happening is you start to free up yourself, have your clothes set out, you know, have your Monday stuff. You know, I mean, for guys, this is simple. I know women, it's a different thing totally, but I don't want to, but you can certainly have, you know, N number of outfits and just have them in the sequence that you wear them and cycle the sequence around to allow you to free up your mind. Do your, you know, your shopping and stuff on a certain date. Maximize, you know, Amazon Prime so you can just have the stuff delivered to your house instead of having to actually spend time going shopping for it. Eliminate these time wasters and come up with a system that's going to get you to your dreams. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're ever interested in getting into sales, check out b2brevenue.com. Connect up with me on LinkedIn anyway. Send your questions to me. I love helping people out with their careers. Thanks for listening. Tell somebody else about the show, will you?